Remember what we said about this guy when cutting a cloth for your doll while we're younger. We fold into two like this, cut out the neckline, cut out the armhole. For those of us that don't have dolls, don't worry, we'll start afresh so that you can understand better. Now, if I were to cut this, all right, what I can see here is a round neck and armholes. So what cutting is about, or what pattern making is about, is more of doing exactly what you see. You can see your neckline, you can see your armhole. So when you want to cut now, you are cutting exactly what you see, basically. So I'm going to cut this one again for those that did not play with dolls. This piece of fabric. Okay, we want to cut this out. Like I said, you are cutting exactly what you see. So what do I see? I see a neck going in this way. All right, then I see an armhole going in this way. I see the other armhole going in this way. This is close to what we did here, right? So with this, I've achieved this. So basically, whatever you see, if you are trying to do a V-neck, what you just do is this. What do I see? That piece of fabric. All right, so what do I see? V-neck. Okay, let's go. My neck would be this way. I'm trying hard to spoil it so that we can do something with it. Okay, then my armhole this way, the second armhole this way. So this is it. But now you will notice something. If you check out this one we cut, you will see that this neck, it's not a round neck, it's a funny neck, right? Also, we also see that this part and this part, they don't look the same. This armhole is longer than this armhole, so there's a problem. If I decide to spread my dress and cut like this, I will encounter problems like this. Look at this one too. Look at this neck. God knows what, right? It's not totally V. Look at this armhole. This one is, narrow. Then this one, it's not equal. So if you decide to spread your dress open this way to cut, you're going to run into problems like this, right? So when we cut, we don't spread our dress open this way. What we do is, instead of cutting it open this way, we do this. Whatever you see halfway, cover one part. Whatever you see halfway is what you cut. Now we are going to fold it into two this way. Then whatever we see halfway is what we are going to cut here. Now it's just like you fold your top in two. What do you see when you fold it in two? This is what you see when you do. It's the same process we are going to do for this one. We cover up halfway. Whatever we see, we put here. This guy too, we cover up halfway. Whatever we see, we'll put it. I'll tell you the implication it has on the excuse me, on the measurement when we are trying, when we want to fix our measurements in. All right, so let's cut out the piece of cloth again. Okay, let's do that for the round neck first. So what do I see halfway? Okay, what do I see halfway? I see this, a neckline coming like this, then the armhole this way. So I get my, this is basically all what we are going to do in our pattern drafting. That is why I'm taking my time to explain the concept around this. So what I see halfway is this. Put it this way. Neckline, then armhole. Right? It's similar to what is here. When we are folded halfway, whatever we see this way is what we get. That is exactly what you draft out when you're making your pattern. All right, what we'll be working with now is sizes. Now we'll fix in our measurement and work with size. All right, so this is what I see halfway. I have something like this. Now for the v-neck, what do I see halfway? Let's cut out the, so what do I see halfway? I can see a neck coming this way, right? Then I can see the armhole coming this way. Don't worry about putting the measurements now. Now we are working with a small scale measurement. You will totally understand when we start fixing in our measurements. So this is it, halfway. Whatever you see halfway, you get it out. This is how simple it goes. Now we can see that this guy, the neck is same all through, the armhole is same, right? Also for this guy, the armhole is same, the neckline is equal. So when you want to cut, you don't cut open this way. All right, with our knowledge of measurement now, let's see how we can work our measurements in. Now when you want to cut your dress, the front of your body stands separately, the back of your body stands separately. So you are going to divide your measurements in two. For example, say your bust is 34, you will cut the front differently, you will cut the back differently. So bust 34, you divide it by 2 with your tape rule. Please avoid as much as possible to divide with calculators, because it will give you most of the time in decimal points and you might find it difficult to know where that is on your tape rule. So it's very easy to divide with your tape rule. Bust 34, like we mentioned, here to the beginning of the tape rule. So just divide it in 2 this way. Put the edge of the tape rule on 34, then divide this way. So whatever you see on this side is your answer. So we have 17 inches here, right? So if we are going to divide by 4, since this is divided by 2, we'll progress and divide this guy too, right? So this will be divided by 4. We have succeeded in cutting it in 4 equal places. Okay, that being said, I was talking about your bust, cutting the front of your dress separately and the back of your dress separately. You know there is always a joining line beside your dress, right? All right, so this is a joining line at the side of your dress. So we are going to treat the front alone, right? Having a line to join to connect with the back this way. So now all what we are going to be working with is the front alone, from here this way all the way down, your bust this way, your waist this way, your hip that way. So when we want to cut, we don't cut everything together. So now if my bust is 34, what I'll be doing is from here to here will be 34 divided by 2. From here to here will be your waist divided by 2. From here to that point will be your hip divided by 2. Why is this so? When you took your bust measurement, how did you go? You went round, the back and front inclusive. When you took your waist measurements, the same thing, round, back and front inclusive, right? So when you want to cut now, you want to exclude the back and cut just the front. That being said, when I spread this way, I've told you the errors I will encounter, right? These guys will not be equal, the armhole and the neckline, because our hands are not perfect to give us, you know, a perfect curve round this way. So we would encounter problems. But when we fold this way, we wouldn't encounter such problems. So we talked about the bust being 34, right? From here to here, we have established that we divide it by 2. You place it here. That is 17. If you were to cut this way. So from here to here is 17. From here to here is, say our waist is 26 divided by 2 should give us 13. All right, you measure this way, you measure this way. But remember the challenge we have here, cutting flat. Our neckline and our curve here might not be equal because our hands are not perfectly or totally, you know, straight. Like, it won't give us the correct measurement all the time. And we need to do to Peter whatever we do to Paul. We need them to be the same, right? Whatever you do to this side must happen on this side. So instead of doing it this way, we decided to fold this way, right, and cut out following whatever we see halfway. Remember, right? So now remember when we spread our bust open, dealing with the front bust alone, we had 17 here, right? Now that you are folding this piece, you know, if you open it up, you have something like this. But now you are folding it up this way. What do you think this place will be? Now you are dividing again by 2. So whatever this guy is, if you fold this guy in 2, you will have half of it, right? So now you'll be doing something like 17 divided by 2 again, right? So that tells us that this side is like the midpoint. Here will be half of it, here will be half of it, right? So here will be 8.5. That's 17 divided by 2. Here will be 8.5. All right, so we understand why we divide our busts directly by 4. So when they tell you divide your bust by 4, this is the reason I just explained. This is why we divide our bust by 4, for those that are familiar with, dressmaking. But if you are not familiar with it, this is it. Your bust is 34. You cannot cut the whole dress at 34. You need to cut your front separately. You need to cut your back separately. So for the front, you have 17. For the back, you have 17. Right? Now, if you try to cut 17 this way, you will encounter this problem. They will never be equal, no matter how hard you try. And what we need is Peter must be equal to Paul. Yeah. So in order to avoid this challenge, you fold in 2 this way. Now remember, as you are folding, your measurement 2 will become half of its original self, right? So now folding further, you then have this 17 again divided by 2. So we could just go all the way and say 34 divided by 4 for your bust measurement. Same thing with your waist measurement, 26 divided by 4. And same thing with your hip measurement. Say the hip is 36, 36 divided by 4. I'm sure we understand that. All right, let's talk about the shoulder. Remember when we're having our shoulder measurements, did we go round from the front towards the back like we did the bust measurements? No, we did not do that. What we did was take only the back shoulder. We did not connect it to the front, because the front and the back, you can take them as the same, while measuring your client. So you don't have to go all the way around like we did with the bust. Yeah. So when cutting now, remember that we have separated the back and the front. We are not cutting the back and front together. We are dealing only with the front. So I measured my shoulder from this end. Let's say this is the woman. All right, so I measured my shoulder from this end to this end here, and say my shoulder measurement is 15 inches from this end to this end here. Now, since we did not go round front and back together for the shoulder, we just did back, right? We can as well take this measurement to be the front too. Okay, let me explain further. Now, this is my shoulder measurements. This is what we did when we took it on the dress form. We said from this side to this side, right? Now we can as well take from this side to this side as the front shoulder too, since if it works for the back, it also works for the front. So whatever you got as your shoulder, you do not divide by 4. That is what I'm trying to say. Unlike the bust, you went round. The waist, you went round. But for your shoulder, you just did one part. So if I'm to take my shoulder measurement on this guy that is spread open, right, I'm going to take it from this end up to this end. Remember, this one is spread open, 15 inches directly, because that is what we measured on the dress, on the clients, right? Directly here, this way. But then, because we will run into errors cutting this way, we will not cut it this way. What we do is we fold in 2. And remember, once you are folded, you have to divide your measurement, right? So instead of doing 15, we'll now have half of 15. So our shoulder will be 15 divided by 2. I hope you understand the explanation. For your bust, you went round. That is why you are dividing by 4. Your waist, you went round. That is why you are dividing by 4. Your hip, you went round. That is why you are dividing by 4. Then your shoulder, did you go round? No, you just measured on one part, right? So you do not divide by 4. The only reason why you are dividing by 2 is because you are folding your fabric. If your fabric were to be opened like this, you could just put in your shoulder measurement, right? But because you are folding your fabric this way, you have to divide that measurement by 2. I hope you understand this process. Once you understand this, we can now go back to the original bodice block, that is cutting with measurements, cutting to your size, right? So remember, a quick recap. Remember why we don't cut all open here. We'll run into errors. They will be uneven. That is why we fold this way. And once we are folded this way, our measurements will be half of what it is, right?